are given and the sample mean will be at 67.47 and we have to find the population mean will be at 67.3739 which will be this will be a population mean and the standard deviation also given that will be at 1.30. So in this problem we are going to prove that the population mean will be at 67.39. So first we are going to define the terms which is given in the question. Here the sample size will be at 400 which will be an n, so n is equal to 400 and the sample size will be an x bar. So x bar value will be 67.47 inches and the population mean will be at 67.39 which is mu, that is therefore the mu is equal to 67.39. Then the standard deviation will be at 1.30, that also this is given in the question. So these are the terms we obtained from the question. So next we are going to define what is the null hypothesis as well as the alternative hypothesis. First I am going to define what is the null hypothesis, that is H naught. In the question they are given that the null hypothesis will be the population will be a mean height of 67.39 which implies the population mean, that is mu, which is not equal to 69.39 and the alternative hypothesis will be a totally opposite case of null hypothesis which implies the population mean mu is equal to 67.39. So this will be a null hypothesis as well as the alternative hypothesis. Next we are going to find what is this z value. Here there are given as a sample mean as well as population mean. So we are going to define the formula for the sample mean and population mean z formula. Here the formula will be z is equal to x bar minus mu divided by sigma by root n. So this is the formula. Then now we are going to substitute all those values. Here the value of x bar will be at 67.47 and the value of mu will be at 67.39. Then the sigma value, that is the standard deviation. The standard deviation value will be at 1.30. Then the sample size n value will be at 400. So this will be replaced as a root 400. Now we are going to simplify all these terms. First I am going to simplify the numerator part. By subtracting these two, I get an answer as 0.08. Next, we are going to simplify the denominator part. While simplifying the denominator, I get an answer as 0.0065. So, by dividing 0.08 divided by 0.65, I get an answer as 1.23. So, that will be a z value while calculated from this formula. So, this is the calculated value. Now, we are going to use the critical value of the 5% level of significance. The value of 5% level of significance is 1.96. The value of 1% level of significance is 2.58. So here they are asking for the, does it mention what is the significance level? So I am going to use this for the 5% level of significance. For the 5% level of significance, the answer will be 1.96. So I am going to compare that critical value with the calculated value. Here the calculated value will be 1.23 and the critical value will be 1.96. While comparing these two, our calculated value will be less than the critical value. If it is less than the hypothesis, the null hypothesis will be accepted. If the calculated value will be greater than the critical value, then we reject the null hypothesis. So in this case, our calculated value will be less than the critical value. So we accept the null hypothesis. If we accept the null hypothesis, the answer will be that is the population mean will be not equal to 67.39. So this is the conclusion of this problem. By concluding this, I will be saying that the problem statement they are given the mean height, sample size and standard deviation are given. So first we frame what is the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Then we are going to apply it in the formula that for the sample mean and population mean. The formula for the z value will be z is equal to x bar minus mu divided by sigma by root n. So this is the formula for to calculate the sample mean as well as population mean. Now I substitute all those values which is present in the question. By substituting all those, I get an answer as 1.23. Now we are going to calculate it for the 5% level of significance. The 5% of level of significance is 1.96. We are going to compare this calculated value with the critical value. While comparing, I get a calculated value will be less than the critical value. So if it is less than the critical value, we are going to accept the null hypothesis. By accepting this, the null hypothesis will be the population mean which is not equal to 67.39. So this is the final answer for this problem. Thank you.